very interesting because of our technical difficulty, right? So today my remote is actually Jeffrey. Okay, so if you see I press here and there's a slight delay here, it's because we are operating independently. Okay.
On manual.
Okay, today's lesson, okay, is on print portfolio. So it follows on from last week, okay, when you did your giveaway. Okay, so today we're talking about how to prepare, okay, your portfolio so that when you go for your interviews, okay, everything is prepared, okay, and you are sure of what's in your content. You have looked through the contents of your portfolio. You have actually sifted through them, okay, and you have arrived at the final set that you're going to show. Okay, so today we look at how you're going to enable that. So first of all, right, let's just run through the various kinds of print portfolios, okay, that you can be, coming up with. Okay, so whichever choice, right, ultimately, right, it is your decision. Okay, so let's look through. Okay, first, right, ring binder. Okay, if you have a ring binder portfolio, so it means that every piece of work is in loose sheets. Okay, so you can have different forms of binding, like this one. Okay, it's a ring, and then they are in sleeves. Okay, so having a sleeves make it look more polished. Of course, if you print it on like sticker cards, you can just punch hole and then insert it without a sleeve. Okay, so even with a sleeve portfolio or a ring binder, you can have with sleeves or without sleeves. So what do you think is the advantage of having them as loose sheets that are bound using a ring? Flexibility, right? Sometimes when you go for interviews, you may want to customize, okay, your works, okay, depending on which company you are interviewing at or who you are seeing. Okay, because some of you may have like multiple strengths. Okay, you have copywriting strengths. Maybe you also have a very good publication, or you have a good illustration portfolio. And then depending on where you are interviewed, you may want to customize it. Like putting some works in front instead of behind, or having more of copywriting works and less of illustrative works. Okay, depending on what kind of role that you're interviewing for. So a ring portfolio, a ring binder portfolio actually gives you that flexibility. Okay. You can also consider a print book portfolio. Okay, for a print book portfolio, all the works are already collated, okay, and they are bound. Okay, meaning that it is actually quite permanent. Okay, unless your print portfolio has a binding that can be removed and also sorted out. But in most cases, when you have a print portfolio, it's actually quite permanent. Okay, yeah. So what is the good point about this? It's a book. It's very presentable. Okay, and in most cases, when you do a print book portfolio, it looks very final, it's very finished, very professional. But sometimes it also gives the impression that it's an art book. Okay, but having said that, a lot of design companies these days, they do their own company portfolio, and it is a print book portfolio. Right? So it's not going to look really arty unless you do special covers with a lot of textures, with some more like beautified kind of look. But otherwise, it can still look very finished and polished. So some of the personal touches, okay, that you can have in a print book portfolio is that you will consider the material that you are using, the paper stock that you are using, okay, and sometimes even giving certain touches, okay, like special finishes. Okay, so these are possible in print portfolios. So you may want to have a cover that's embossed, debossed, or do a cover with a foil stamp. Okay, so these are possible. Okay, and what is the con? Okay, what's not so good about it? You can't like resort it. Okay, so it's fixed, right? Okay, then you have a combination of both, the flexibility as well as having it bound. Okay, if let's say you do a collation, okay, of sets. Okay, so if you have like different sets of it and then it goes into a sleeve, so that allows you some flexibility. Okay, then if you really want to pick and mix, okay, and then sometimes you want to bring 3 books along, sometimes you want to have 5 booklets along, then you have to think that the sleeve, okay, to think about the sleeve, is it collapsible, okay, or is it a fixed height? Because if it is fixed height, then you should bring all the booklets along, right, inside. Otherwise, you have this looseness and you start dropping out. And so if, let's say, you want to have it in different booklets, and it has a sleeve, make sure that the sleeve can customize to different height thicknesses, okay, so that you can really have that flexibility. Okay, so another form, okay, what if you have them in just loose sheets? Okay, loose sheets are acceptable if you do not have that many pages. Okay, but if you have a lot, and then imagine you bring it along with you, and then you put it on the table, but in your anxiety you knock them over, okay, and then you have like a whole like carpet full of your works on the floor. So it's a little bit awkward if you have to start picking them up piece by piece. Okay, yeah. So, but if let's say you only have like 5 cards, in your portfolio, okay, on front and back, and then that's still okay. So it's difficult if you have like 20 cards. That really needs finding. Okay, so those are the different formats of print portfolio. Okay, now we look at how you can enable your works to show up professionally. Okay, and not having it look like it is a student book. Okay, so some techniques here, how to feature them. Okay, for name cards. Okay. I think overall, okay, as you look through, you realize that if you want to show your works professionally, do not just do screen captures and then print and then it is like digital and then flat. Okay, you try to show it as real as possible in the environment. Okay, so if it's flat like this with like many variations, it almost looks like a CA submission. Okay, and that is what you want to avoid. Okay, so instead, okay, present them like in stacks, okay, like that's a company, it's real, you have printed one whole stack of it. Okay, so even if you do not want to print like one whole stack, right? So only the first piece can be real, the rest of it in the same paper stock, okay, but blanks. Okay, then you fake it, right? Okay, so show them in stacks of it, okay, in decks, okay, the front, the back. And also consider how you are shooting it. So what is the background? Okay. So usually, okay, the background will set off, okay, the company. Okay, in this case, it is yourself, right? Then you think of yourself, how do you want to brand yourself? What would be a suitable background? Okay, and am I, someone who is, likes like cold, brushed, steel kind of finish, as a background? Or am I someone who prefers something that is more earthy, okay, on, let's say, a wooden table, okay? So because it gives off a different tone and mood. And that, you have to consider it against the design that you have on your card. And also your concept, okay, for your branding. Okay, so all these go hand in hand. Okay, you also want to think about the texture, so of the paper stock that you are using. You don't just like go to print shop and then get them to print and then you print it on the default paper, right? So buy your own paper or look through the selection that the print shops have, okay, and then select a paper stock that is suitable. So having the tactile elements to it shows that you are a designer who looks into details, okay, the finer points of crafting. And if you choose a paper stock well, it also reflects that you are quite experienced working with paper, right? Because you know your paper choices. Okay. One way to feature them, okay, it does not always have to show like everything in full. You notice that this image has a close crop, right? So you can actually zoom in closer to shoot certain details, okay, and then highlight them. If you're a photographer, right, think of how do you want to showcase your name card. So in this case, it's very appropriate because it's a picture taken, okay, of the name card, okay, and it's handheld against a background. Okay, so using the hand to hold your name card, or you present it to someone holds it, establishing contact, okay, with the show of the hand. Then that's for name card. Okay, let's look at branding identity. Okay, again, don't just do screen captures. Okay, showing it flat, it's not impressive. Okay, mock it up. Okay, and then select good background. Okay, so when you show, don't show item by item. Okay, don't show item by item. Assemble them together as one whole set. Okay, and then also show color variance if let's say your design is a series. Okay. And when you do this, right, you start to realize that in the beginning when you're doing the design, you should not just replicate the design, right? The concept can carry through, but it doesn't mean that what you do on a name card is a direct replica that's applied onto the envelope, applied on the letterhead. Because when you put them together, you start to realize that it's looking very repetitive. Okay, so it's better that at the start, when you think about your branding concept, interpret your concept so that when it goes on your letterhead, as well as your envelope, right, the idea comes well together and not in a very repetitive cut and paste way. Okay, showing texture, okay, choice of paper, use of printing finishes like embossing, debossing, foil finish. Maybe you want to do letterpress, okay, for the extra tactile touch, or could it be some form of spot lamination? Okay, all these are, to show that there's a difference, okay, in the texture. Okay, so when you hold it and feel it, you feel very good. Okay, like I once received the name card from someone who works in letterpress. Okay, and then when he hands me the name card, I don't just look at it. I feel, I touch. I look at the top, the slightly debossed image, and then I look at the back to see whether actually the debossing goes through on the other side or not. Okay, and then he tells me that, oh, you're looking for the debossing. I said, oh, the finishing is very good, the tactile feel is very good. Then he said, actually, okay, for letterpress, you do not want to see the depression, okay, because letterpress, right, if you use it for craft, yes, you want to see the depression, okay, but if you use it for real printing, you actually do not want the debossing because, the back will be, quite affected. Yeah, so I learned something. Okay, so when you do your name card, consider, all these qualities. Yeah? This one is interesting. Okay, if let's say whatever item you're doing, okay, try to show it in situ where they exist. Okay, so if it is a name card or a branding, okay, for this teachingshop.com is like an online educational place, then show it on the screen, okay, because it exists online. Quite interestingly, you can see the name card is in the shape of a mouse, is in the shape of an owl. Quite interesting this. Okay, showing it in situ, if it's a poster, okay, have it DI, okay, onto where the poster should be seen. Right, I think you have done this in year 2, right? So when you do BCS, when you have a bus stop, posters, etc., you try to DI it in situ. Okay. So similarly for T-shirt, right, you show the design, okay, and then you either print it on the T-shirt or DI it on the T-shirt. And then show applications. For example, this is for the concept here is actually for tags for clothing, right? And then notice where these photos are taken. So it looks like it is at the boutique itself. Okay, yeah, at the cashier's counter, and also the tags are tied to the clothing items. So if it's for packaging, and of course mock it up, okay, as the packaging. Okay, so all across the items, okay, from your sandwich bags, okay, to your paper bags, to your takeaway wrappers, okay, to the bottles, okay, sauces, and even. Okay, so another example, okay, of taking the works, okay, the branding works at the premise itself. So in this case, it looks like a bookshop. Next, okay, publication. Okay, avoid this. Okay, instead, okay, put them down. So you know that in publications you have many pages. Then you wonder what is the best way to show it. Okay, so one way is before you buy, okay, take a photo. Okay, take a photo of the different pages. Yeah. So line them up, take a photo. You can also stack them. Okay, and you can stack only when you have multiple copies. Okay, otherwise you DI, I suppose. Okay, you show the entire set. Okay, show what is inside. So you can take photos of the spreads. So not necessarily you do them flat, okay, or everything with 90-degree angle. So sometimes you can shoot the close-ups, okay, of a certain interesting layouts, okay, of special features. Okay. So show the inside, right? You can actually open the book and then shoot some spreads. Okay, or you can handhold them and then take photos. Okay, so in all this, right, show your sensitivity to the color scheme that you are working with. Okay, so in this case, there is a series here, so you can see the color scheme in use, okay, which is quite bright and cheerful against a portfolio cover that is black. Okay, again, crop and zoom. Okay, so it makes it quite interesting when you zoom in on certain parts. Okay, if it's a flyer, right, have it closed and then have it open. Yeah. Okay, other items. Okay, I think the general rule here is, you know, do not just show screen capture flat. Mock it up. Okay, do close-up shots. And if you do photography, okay, because we have a very good photo studio now, right? So book in advance, okay, do your shoots there. So if you have year 2 works, especially when it's in 3D, that you want to showcase in your portfolio, so I suggest you plan time for it, okay, plan it with a friend so that you can have a friend shoot and, you know, when you shoot, you can shoot together. Okay, so the studio is out there, you can actually have a few stations. Okay, but if it's last minute, it's very hard. Then you only, you know, rely on window light, and then especially for reflective subjects like glass, okay, it's not possible to do really nice lighting using existing light. You need a very controlled environment. Okay, so I would suggest that, you know, you try, okay, to get your portfolio ready. So the selector works that you have, you know, shoot them professionally before you actually, you know, submit. Okay. Okay. So another thing is, if let's say it is a product that needs demonstration, so you can actually show the product in use, or even including a human element in there. So, you know, a skateboard by its own, okay, it's interesting design, but it doesn't come to life until someone holds it, right? Same here like this. A notebook is a notebook, okay, but it takes on another tone and mood and personality, okay, when you have a user, okay, so you can also feature the user. Okay, so for some of the designs, highlight, okay, what is interesting about it. Okay, this is a naughty example. Okay, illustrations, you can, you know, zoom in on certain parts to show special, you know, detailings. So all these are illustration examples. Okay, website, you shoot it on screen. Okay, whether it's on an iPad, it's on a laptop, okay, or it's on your mobile. Okay, so in this case, it can be DI. Okay, portfolio layout. Okay, so now, okay, we have seen through the different forms of print portfolios. Okay. We've also gone through what to look out for when you prepare your photos, okay, for your portfolio. Okay, now we look at, okay, how you lay out, okay, your portfolio. Okay, quite simply, this one is full page, meaning you only need to feature one work on one page. Okay, so these are one-page portfolio examples. Okay, whether it's on individual pages or it is bound in a book. Okay, then moving away from that, okay, because there are projects that you want to show, okay, that has many pages, and you're not going to use entirely like one page for one visual. Then you need to devise a grid system, okay, to show several pages, okay, all at once, or several items all at once, okay, on one page. So these are examples. Okay, this one is a double page spread, okay, whereas this is using a grid system, but the works are contained within a page. Okay, so this goes across pages. Okay, so consider when you are working on your portfolio, because it's a sequential flow. Okay, so you open the cover and then it goes spread by spread. Okay, so do not think in terms of individual pages anymore when you plan this out. Think in terms of spreads. Okay, think in terms of your color flow. Okay, think in terms of, if I have a big double page spread image, what should feature when I next turn the spread? Okay, so should it still be the same, okay, big pictures, or it should have a combination of big and small pictures? So the flow is also very important, okay, other than your choice of words in there. Okay, so in this example, you see that there is quite good variation, because you have, on one side there's text, and then on the other side there's an image, and then when you flip across, okay, so there are, it's not so monotonous, okay, there's some variations, but all keeping with the grid. Okay, consider how you use your white space, right? Don't cram everything up, have some breathing space for your eyes to rest. Then, okay, if you have illustrations, also how to feature your illustrations. Of course, if you have a super good one, you try to feature it big. Okay, and then smaller illustrations, you can put a few together. Okay, and then don't forget your labeling, description, text, okay, on what the project is. Okay, so these are examples of using the grid system and also having a labeling on your grid works. If let's say your portfolio has a definite concept and extended to the formats of your portfolio, that would be quite interesting. Okay, like in this example, there's a circle in the middle. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. Okay, so you can see that, okay, it's rivet bound. Okay, so in a way, okay, even though it is bound, there is some form of flexibility in here, because you can unscrew and you can change. Okay, so it just requires a little bit more effort. Okay, so if you look through, okay, now I want you to look at the screen, okay, and look at the flow of the works. Okay, can you tell me, okay, how many grid column, okay, is this layout? How many grid do you think it's using? Anybody want to have a guess? What do you think? Could be 6, right? Because it's quite flexible. Because you can see here, it can be 2, 2, 2, right? And then this is 3. So quite possibly it's a 6-column grid. Okay, so as you move through the spreads, okay, we find that it is using the grid system, but because the 6-column grid is quite flexible, so it enables the images to be laid out like half, okay, or one full, okay, or 3 columns. Okay, so if you have like a many grid system, like 6 column, 7 column, 8 columns, when you plan your layout, just be careful, don't go crazy. Okay, have some flexibility of arrangement, but it should not look like every page is totally new, okay, because then that would be quite disconcerting. Okay. So over here you can see consistency in the layout. Okay, and also how, okay, how and where the descriptions are placed, and also where in the book, okay, is that section. Okay. Then next, okay, we look at elements, page elements. Okay, so you should have your title of work. Okay, you should have a heading, what category that is. Okay, and it should also have a description. Okay, short description, very brief. Okay, so if let's say you have a lot of words, right, you may need the sections and dividers. Okay, and your CV should go inside there as well. Okay, if not, it could be a loose sheet that you give out together. Okay, so in this case, you see, this is actually this CV is done by your senior, okay, Imelda, and she has a very interesting concept. Okay, can you read what is there? It says killer data. Okay, it says killer data, and then she shoots herself, as if she's a convict. Okay, front view, side view, and then you notice that over here, okay, these are her biodata details. And then over here, she says that she's out of jail, okay, on like 13 March, okay, 2009, okay, and then ready for the next killer assignment, something like that. And then her works, she said past crimes, okay, and it's not just ads, because these are killer ads, okay, so that ties in with the whole concept of being a convict. Okay, so these are. A concept like this, right, is interesting because it gives your interviewer a glimpse into your personality, right? You can tell that she's quite witty, she's humorous, she has a sense of fun and play, okay? And also definitely creativity. Okay, for this one, okay, this senior, okay, Charmaine, she loves traveling. Okay, so her idea is a package, and then when it opens up, okay, it's the travel element is here. Okay, I can read it for you. The text is not very clear in here, okay, but you can tell that she's ready for an adventure, ready for the next journey. Okay, now we talk about the finishing. Has run out. So over here you can see that this is a bound book, okay, and the material is just grey bond. Okay, so it's a very raw finishing. Okay. And of course, look into how you actually bind your print portfolio. So these are the different bindings that you can consider. I'm sure you can have a lot more variations from this. Okay, and also the folding. Okay, because a print portfolio, if let's say there are only a few pages, okay, a few spreads, and you find that if you bind into a book, it's rather thin. Okay, so if let's say it doesn't take that many pages, you may want to consider like a concertina fold, a gate fold that you actually insert into a sleeve, for example. Okay, so this covers today's lecture. It is rather long. Okay, a lot to look at, but I find it
so the class exercise on this week, again, thank you for rolling on over to this side. So it's every time this side goes over there, so I thought this week, get everyone to come this side. So we've got two things. The first thing is this. Start creating a print portfolio template for yourselves. Use the template that we have and create two different styles. One for something that is quite tall and have your title, the date, the descriptions and all that, whatever information you want to go in to represent, to talk about the work. So do one template for a long piece of work and do a template for a wide piece of work, right? So it's more, this is landscape, portrait. So do two different templates and start thinking about how you're going to print your page up, how you're going to how many columns you're going to use, and how you're going to start placing all these things. Are you going to have a margin? Are you going to go full bleed? So again, think of these two squares. I mean, it's not going to be all the same, but you're going to roughly have things that are wider and shorter, or taller and narrow. Okay, so this is part one. In design, please. Let's not go nuts and use, Microsoft Word and things like that. Okay, so this is for your print portfolio template. The next thing you need to do is in Photoshop, for the same things, do something that is 750 pixels wide, right? So do the same thing like you've got a tall image, you've got your descriptions and your titles. 750 pixels again, how will the narrow, short but wide one fit, right? So the landscape, the portrait, how will they look like in this dimension? So you're going to have a print template, and this looks like it's going to be a web template of sorts, right? So see how you can adapt it, because your A4 is going to be quite big, right? Here you have A4 or whatever print size that you will eventually do, but start thinking of how you're going to lay this out. And after you're done with this, think of how you're going to adapt it for this width of 750 pixels. Okay, so any questions? Anything not very clear? So silence, golden, let's go. Okay, thank you. Yes. It's just a template lah. So as long as you can find some work that is a portrait and one that is a landscape, just so that you have two variations at least. Yeah, two pieces of work lah. So it's a template lah. It's not the whole portfolio yet, right? Yeah, I mean whatever you think fits like. If you want to change it into, then it's just art. Is it? So again, think of what you want to put in. Is it always going to be a description? Is it going to be the brief? Right? So how are you going to tell the story about a piece of work you're going to be putting in your portfolio? So think of the structure you want to do, right? So again, you don't have to follow exactly this. Do your own, bring your own moves to the game. Okay?
Okay, I've got one very important announcement. I think this will interest all of you. Can you hear me at the back? Yes. Okay, now this is with regards to the submission for your CA1 for PDP. So again, the CA1 consists of self-promo item and your print portfolio, right? Or self-promo item and your digital show reel. So the portfolio is either a print portfolio or design show reel. That part you guys understood? Quite clear, right? Now back to your self-promotional item, we are expecting a printout of 10 name cards plus your 3 sets of self-promotional item. So that's self-promo in one package. Then you have your portfolio or showroom. Quite clear, right? Now, in view of your submission for your INDS, okay, we would like to propose that the submission of PDP should not coincide with INDS, because currently it will fall on the same week as INDS. Okay, so do you guys like that? Right. So, okay, I see one note. Thanks, Zaki will submit on the same week. Now, so now this submission has got 2 parts, right? self-promo and portfolio. Okay. Now, so we have a couple of arrangements for you. We either move the portfolio and showreel until January when you come back after the vacations. So that means you only submit your self-promo item, which is your name card and giveaway. Alright? Or we move both till after the holidays. So now, but that means, right, now you guys gotta think about it, okay? If you move both components till January, and that should be the first day of school because we don't want to waste any time. That means, right, your holidays, your 3 weeks of holidays will be spent doing your self-promo and your portfolio. So that's option number 2, right? So that means no holidays for you. You'll be cracking your brains for PDP. Okay? Or you want to have a little bit of a holiday, you submit your self-promo first, and then leaving the portfolio, the print portfolio or the showreel till January. So we either move both components to January or one component. So what do you say? I see some, probably some of you guys would have planned for holidays and then this might come in your office, I'm not sure. So can we have a vote? We want to help you with this submission rearrangement, okay? So make sure it helps you. Those of you who are for moving one component to January and then you submit the first self-promo component in the same week as IES, how many? Both of you who are for moving both components till the first day of term 4, raise your hands. The rest of you who hadn't raised your hands, what do you think? Yourself? Did you raise your hand? The first or the second one? The second one. Okay, so that's it. We will move both components. I will make an official announcement on Blackboard so that we can move both components until the first day of term 4. Now, having said that, our marking will be a lot stricter. Okay? Our marking will be a lot stricter, and then there's no room for you to amend or rework your branding and stuff during the holidays if that's the case. Okay? So please, I will upload the new amendments on Blackboard. Just have a look at that, and don't forget to work on it during the holidays. Then your submission will be on the first day of term 4. Okay? So any other? Now, having said that, okay, we will also encourage those of you who may want to leave your first component of the submission to us before you go for the holidays. You can. You can. So we'll just tick that off as submitted already when we do it on the first day of school. Just in case you want it to be a flexible arrangement where you can still make submissions before the holidays, you can still do that. We will keep it for you so that during the holidays you know that we only need to focus on your print portfolio and your digital showroom. We have 2 more weeks, right? So next week there will be another lecture on print portfolio, and then digital showreel. Now, digital showreel has been programmed for week 8, but I think week 8 you'll be very busy with submissions for IES. You probably will move the digital portfolio lecture next week, right? So that we will probably see you all. Okay? So that's all. Any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.